That's what investigators from Baldwin County are looking into right now following the seizure of a large sum of money along I-65. The federal task force discovered this money during a search of a pickup truck on I-65 in Baldwin County. Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. What federal agents just found in Floyd Mayweather's house is truly shocking. So, investigators from Baldwin County are working hard after discovering a large sum of money along I-65, and now, shocking news has been released as federal authorities uncovered something unexpected at Floyd Mayweather's house. What do you think about this incident? Leave a 1 if you're shocked or a 0 if you're not surprised at all. Enjoy the video and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to support the channel. They are tracking Floyd Mayweather's assets. Do you remember his brother who used to travel around with a $100 million check in his pocket? He claimed he didn't even need to cash it. Well, they are following him now. Floyd Mayweather may have lost it all. And no, this isn't just another clickbait headline. From private jets and a billion-dollar lavish lifestyle to rumors of fraud, lawsuits, and a $42 million financial disaster, Money Man might be out of money. Is this the collapse of the most controversial empire in boxing or the biggest scam in sports history? Let's break it all down. Floyd Mayweather is money. He was just a kid from New Brunswick, New Jersey, living in a cramped one-bedroom apartment with 6 family members, no heat, no lights, and certainly no silver spoons. His mother struggled with addiction. His father, a former boxer, was in and out of prison many times. Floyd didn't just grow up around boxing. He was born into it, shaped by survival. His earliest memories weren't about championships or cameras, but about darkness and cold. Yet, even in such harsh conditions, Floyd never cried, never complained. He trained. By the time he entered the Olympic arena in 1996 and won the bronze medal, Floyd had the work ethic of a champion. In the early years of his career, he was known as Pretty Boy Floyd. Quick, smooth, with incredible technique, and almost untouchable in the ring. But behind the scenes, he was battling more challenges than just his opponents. Despite his dominance, Floyd wasn't earning what he felt he deserved. According to top promotions, he was making only a few $1 million per fight while his bouts were generating tens of millions in revenue. That's when everything changed. In 2006, Mayweather made the boldest move of his career. He bought out his contract with Top Rank for $750,000, betting on himself in a way that few fighters ever had. It was a risky decision. Breaking free from the protection of a powerful promoter meant he had to build something entirely new on his own. But Floyd didn't just want to be a fighter anymore. He wanted to be a mogul. This was the birth of Money Mayweather. With his new company, Mayweather Promotions, he took full control of his fights, his image, and most importantly, his revenue. From there, his fortune skyrocketed. Within a few years, he was earning over $100 million per fight, becoming the highest-paid athlete in the world, and rewriting the blueprint for how boxers could do business. But as the money started flowing in, so did the problems. Floyd Mayweather didn't just rebrand himself. He reinvented the entire boxing business. The handsome, humble, soft-spoken guy was no longer there. In his place stood Money Mayweather, the man with a private jet, Bugattis, and a $1 million watch collection. All of it was filmed and flaunted on social media. He draped himself in arrogance like armor, stepping into press conferences in luxury suits, tossing money into the crowd, mocking opponents with cold precision. And the craziest part, it worked. Floyd became the most hated man in the sport. And that was exactly the goal. He understood something that most athletes never do. People don't need to love you to pay to watch you. In fact, it's better if they don't. The world paid to watch him lose. And when he didn't lose, they kept paying again and again. In marketing terms, he became the perfect villain, a villain you couldn't ignore. And while others chased titles, Floyd chased attention. He fought smart. He carefully selected his opponents, mastered the psychological game, and left every fight with both a victory and a fat wallet. His record remains flawless, 50 wins, no losses. But outside the ring, admiration became much more complicated. Fans praised his defensive genius, but criticized his showmanship. Commentators called him the most strategic fighter of all time while questioning his ego. His self-promotion was unparalleled, but so was the backlash. Mayweather was not just a boxer. He was a brand, a lifestyle, a walking contradiction. He didn't care whether you respected him or not as long as you listened, and they listened. With immense wealth, Floyd's excess was even greater. His spending was not only extravagant, but legendary. From walking into Gucci with $1 million in a canvas bag to shutting down entire shopping malls for a private $15 million shopping spree, Mayweather lived like a man untouchable by consequence. His Instagram was a shrine to extravagance, showcasing luxury car fleets, diamond-encrusted watches worth more than most homes, and stacks of cash scattered across hotel beds like confetti. He once revealed that his most expensive watch was worth $18 million. But while Floyd was counting millions, his relationships began to unravel. The first cracks appeared within his own family. Floyd's father, his first trainer, publicly admitted that their relationship soured as Floyd's fame and spending grew. They once had a close bond. But as Floyd's obsession with wealth increased, the distance between them widened. "We never fought," his father said, "until the money came. Then it wasn't about training anymore. It was about pride, control, and who really deserved the credit." Then came the fallout with 50 Cent, one of Floyd's closest friends and business partners. Their tight friendship had been the subject of hip-hop headlines until it collapsed. Later, 50 Cent revealed that Floyd had been consumed by money, no longer valuing loyalty or friendship. Their partnership deteriorated due to financial disputes, with 50 Cent claiming Floyd refused to return investments and began treating people like disposable objects. And perhaps the most painful split came with Gervonta "Tank" Davis, Floyd's prized protégé. Tank accused Floyd of intentionally making him dependent, feeding him scraps to maintain control. Despite the fame and fight purses, Tank felt exploited, like a pawn rather than a partner. "They put you in a position where you always need them," Tank said. "To the world, it looks like they're helping, but it's manipulation." These were not isolated incidents. They were symptoms of a pattern. As Floyd's wealth soared, trust eroded, and those who once stood by him began to walk away. His wealth was real, but so was the cost of maintaining it. And with every mansion built and every bridge burned, a bigger question grew. Is this the price of greatness or greed? As Floyd's bank account grew, so did his ego. And not everyone was applauding. While Mayweather's skills were never in question, his arrogance became the main talking point, especially when he publicly dismissed boxing legends like Muhammad Ali. In a notorious interview, Floyd boldly declared, "Among all the boxers in the history of boxing, I've accomplished more than any other boxer in history." He cited Ali's losses, including his defeat to Leon Spinks, who had only 7 professional fights, and went even further by claiming that Ken Norton had beaten Ali in all 3 of their encounters. A view that many historians and analysts did not support. The backlash was immediate. Stephen A. Smith, one of the most prominent voices at ESPN, called Floyd's comments blasphemous, reminding the audience that legacy isn't just about records, but about what you stand for. Ali fought not only in the ring, but outside of it, for civil rights, for dignity, for something greater than himself. Smith argued that Mayweather stood for nothing but money. Mike Tyson also spoke out, calling Floyd out and warning that in the end all fighters have to face reality. Tyson, who has walked the same path of fame, luxury, and isolation, believes that the detachment from Floyd's humility not only harms his relationships, but also his soul. The public seems to agree. People don't watch Mayweather's fights out of admiration. They watch with the hope of seeing him lose. In fact, many fans view it as a spectator sport to cheer against him. His talent in the ring is undeniable, but outside of it, he is a symbol of unchecked ego. He has become the villain, and not just by choice. This story becomes even more shocking with Tank Davis, who was once Floyd's loyal protégé. Tank didn't just part ways professionally. He also separated emotionally, accusing Floyd of manipulating him into becoming dependent. Davis describes a subtle yet persistent control strategy, giving just enough to keep someone loyal, but never enough to make them independent. His words were not filled with anger. They were conveyed with pain, almost like a warning to others. The richer he became, the deeper the cracks grew. Floyd's relationships were becoming strained under the weight of his own success, and the world began to ask, at what point does legacy become collateral damage? After retiring undefeated in 2017, Floyd Mayweather could have walked away from the sport as a legend. But instead, he entered a new chapter, one that many believe is tarnishing his legacy, the era of exhibition matches. It began with a bang, a lucrative performance against Japanese kickboxer Tenshin Nasukawa, followed by a highly publicized fight with YouTube star Logan Paul. While these bouts were profitable, many in the boxing community regarded them as a circus. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about these exhibition matches? Are they changing the world of boxing, or are they just a spectacle? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with our next videos. They lacked competitiveness, had no official stakes, and felt more like money-making ventures than sports events. Critics didn't hold back. Chael Sonnen, a former MMA star and outspoken commentator, bluntly stated, "Floyd is still fighting because he needs money." Sonnen claimed that Floyd had never made as much money as the headlines suggested, and that his post-retirement exhibition matches weren't driven by passion, but by necessity. Eddie Hearn, one of the most respected promoters in boxing, also took aim. He called Mayweather's events meaningless, arguing that they had become irrelevant to serious fans and were no longer capable of drawing the pay-per-view numbers they once did. When Mayweather fought at London's O2 Arena in early 2023, Hearn bluntly stated, "I don't know anyone who knows the fight is happening." Then came the controversies over fighter pay. Logan Paul publicly accused Mayweather of not paying him the full amount from their fight, a claim that further fueled concerns about Floyd's financial transparency. Deji, another influencer who had fought Mayweather, also hinted that the financial dealings were not as smooth or professional as fans would expect from a former world champion. These weren't isolated accusations. They reflected a deeper pattern. Critics began to ask, "You've made $1 billion, Floyd, but have you paid your people?" The more stories like this came to light, the more fans started to question whether Mayweather's obsession with money had shifted from a business strategy into something more desperate. What began as a power move, building his own empire, now seemed increasingly like damage control. Behind the glitz of private jets and championship belts, troubling signs began to surface. In 2023, Business Insider published a report that closely examined Floyd's claims of real estate dominance. While Mayweather had publicly stated that he owned over 60 properties, the investigation revealed that many of these properties were co-owned or financed through complex deals, and his actual ownership stake was much lower than he had advertised. The article questioned whether Mayweather was embellishing his assets to maintain his brand. Then came the $42 million fraud allegations related to the cryptocurrency promotion that Floyd had endorsed, a move that caught the attention of the SEC. While Floyd denied any wrongdoing, the financial and legal repercussions drew significant attention and continued to fuel the growing story. The empire might be hollow. Perhaps the strangest chapter was the rumor that Floyd was stuck in Dubai due to unpaid debts online. The story quickly gained attention, especially as fans believed Floyd was being held captive abroad. But then suddenly, a TikTok went viral showing Mayweather sitting courtside at a Clippers game in Los Angeles. The internet exploded. Was the Dubai story fake? Was it a cover-up? Why wasn't Floyd placed in the VIP section of the stadium that night? The truth remains unclear. Some believe the Dubai claims were a hoax, while others think he quietly settled a legal issue before making his return. One thing is certain, stories like this would have been unimaginable when he was at the peak of his career. And then came the bombshell from Chael Sonnen. In an interview, Sonnen claimed that despite all the hype about 100 million nights and billions in earnings, Floyd might have only made around 100 million in total net profit throughout his entire career. This was a shocking contrast to the story Floyd had built, but it was backed by the enormous costs of his lifestyle. On the lawyer's side, the entourage, salaries, and expenses are never ending. Suddenly, the empire that once seemed invincible begins to show cracks. Mayweather may have built the wealthiest brand in boxing history, but did he also build a house of cards? In the past, Floyd Mayweather's fights were cultural events, blockbuster nights that brought together celebrities, sports fans, and casual viewers around a common goal: to watch Floyd win, or better yet, to finally see him lose. Now, those golden nights seem like nothing more than a distant memory. In recent years, Mayweather has fully shifted to exhibition matches, unofficial, unregulated bouts that blur the line between sport and spectacle. But where fans once paid sky-high prices to watch him box, the buzz has faded. His 2023 exhibition match with British reality TV star Aaron Chalmers at the iconic O2 Arena in London was a stark contrast to the sold-out events of the past. The crowd was so sparse that many sections of the arena remained empty despite heavy promotion. Even industry figures like Eddie Hearn admitted they didn't know anyone who was aware the fight was even happening. Pay-per-view ticket sales were only a fraction of what they once were. The contrast was glaring. The man who once headlined record-breaking events is now struggling to fill a venue. What's worse, questions about Floyd's true financial health have begun circulating like never before. How could a man who claims to have earned over $1 billion in his career still be fighting for relatively small prize money against unknown opponents? Prominent voices in combat sports have sounded the alarm. Chael Sonnen has repeatedly questioned Floyd's income, suggesting that much of the billionaire story is inflated due to brand value rather than reality. According to Sonnen, Floyd's net take-home income could be close to $100 million after taxes, team expenses, lifestyle maintenance, and luxury costs. When you consider that Mayweather is said to have spent $1 million a month just to maintain his fleet of cars, private jets, and staff, the math begins to add up, and not in a positive way. Then there was the scandal in Dubai with rumors circulating that Mayweather was being held in the UAE due to unpaid debts. The rumor was quickly debunked after a TikTok user spotted him courtside at an NBA game. But the fact that so many people believed the story says a lot. The public's trust in Mayweather's financial situation has been eroded, especially among his fans. The man who spent years building an image of limitless wealth suddenly appeared vulnerable. And then that question echoed across comment sections, forums, and fan circles. He sold the dream of wealth. But was it all just a facade? When you strip away the glamour, the Gucci, and the glitz of luxury watches, what is Floyd Mayweather's legacy? In the ring, his record remains untouchable: 50 wins, no losses. He faced elite opponents across multiple weight classes, and at his peak he made world champions look like amateurs. His defensive mastery and ring IQ changed the way people viewed boxing. A true technician in a sport often dominated by raw power, Floyd Mayweather is undoubtedly one of the greatest boxers to ever live. But outside the ropes, the picture grows darker. He redefined the business model of boxing. Yes, he became the blueprint for financial independence in a sport notorious for exploitation. But as he reached the pinnacle of fame and wealth, his personal life began to unravel. Friendships crumbled under the weight of money. From the betrayal by 50 Cent to the painful departure of Tank Davis, who went from protege to critic, the cracks in his personal life became more apparent. His relationship with his father, once the foundation of his success, was marred by power struggles and pride. Business partners, fans, and even fellow athletes grew wary of Floyd's arrogance. And for many in the boxing world, his relentless pursuit of wealth came at an even greater cost: respect. He alienated purists of boxing with his exhibitions. He angered critics with dismissive remarks about icons like Muhammad Ali. And he crafted a public image so tightly linked to materialism that any sign of weakness, like a bounced check or an empty arena, seemed like poetic justice to those who once supported his downfall. However, it would be dishonest to call Floyd a failure. He redefined success on his own terms. He earned more money than any other boxer in history. He left the sport with his mind, body, and bank account largely intact, a feat most fighters can only dream of. But perhaps that is the tragic beauty of Floyd's story. He won every round in the ring, but lost many outside of it. The greatest defensive boxer the sport has ever seen may have built walls so high that even those closest to him couldn't reach him. In protecting himself from financial predators and rivals, he may have also isolated himself from real relationships, loyalty, and legacy. So, we're left with one final haunting question. Floyd Mayweather may have won every fight in the ring, but did he lose the battle of life? What do you think? Is winning in the ring enough to judge a person? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the Boxing is Here channel for the latest updates, fight analysis, and exciting events in the world of boxing. Also, make sure to turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. And before we wrap up, do you think Floyd Mayweather has earned respect outside the ring? Comment 1 if you think he has, or 0 if you think he hasn't fully earned it yet. Enjoy the video and don't forget to leave a sub to support the channel. See you next time. Peace.